have I got some very exciting news to share with you today. Very exciting, especially if you have an autistic child or you know somebody with an autistic child. Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Becky of Dr. Becky's Better Brain Tips, and today I'm going to talk about autism because of a brand new research trial that was just published less than 30 days ago. And so it's exceptionally encouraging, and I wanted to make sure that all parents of autistic children would be able to see this very important information. Before we dig into how awesome the research is, though, there's a few things that I want to share, and I wrote them down because, again, I want to make sure that I get the numbers correct. And so here are the numbers. In 1990, autism in America was about 1 in 2,000 children, which is still a high prevalence for a disease process. So 1990, 1 in 2,000. Then in the year 2000, so just a mere 10 years later, the rate of autism in America was 1 in 150. Huge change, huge uptick. And then in 2020, those are the last stats that were provided. Autism in America in the year 2020 is 1 in 36 children have autism. And so it's highly likely that if you are not the parent of an autistic child, you likely know many parents with autistic children just because the numbers are so great. And much like having dementia or Alzheimer's, with autism, there isn't really any hope given to parents with autistic children. They will oftentimes prescribe medication that will calm the children down, keep them quiet, keep them from having outbursts. But as far as any kind of treatment to help improve the health of a child with autism, there's none. How do I know that? Because my husband and I have an adult autistic child, and I will be falling down a rabbit hole probably one day next week, and I'm going to do the entire origin story on why I do what I do related to brain health. Because most of you that are tuning in already know the story that both of my parents died with Alzheimer's disease. And many of you likely do not know that our youngest son, who is now 38 years old, suffered a brain injury when he was 2 months old, and that brain injury is what led to his autism. And man, oh man, there have been many a journey that my husband and I and our son Kevin have taken, and I will be going into great detail. But other than what we lived in with our own son, again, there hasn't really ever been any good news related to autism until now. And so there's this incredible research article that I will have linked, because if you know anybody with an autistic child, it will be crucial that they can read the research themselves and see that finally some group of doctors have been willing to shine a light of hope for families with autistic children. But the name of the research that was done, the name of the article that I will have linked, is called Reversal of Autism Symptoms Among Twins Through a Personalized Lifestyle and Environmental Modification Approach. And many reasons that this is super encouraging. The primary reason, of course, is that families with autistic children now have a sense of hope. And the doctors who did these studies, their information is in the researched article that's linking. There's even a phone number available. So there will be people for families to reach out to try to help guide them if they are interested in learning more about what was done with these two little girls who were diagnosed with autism. And it's important to know that in this study, the two little girls who were diagnosed had significant and severe autism. And again, autism is certainly on a spectrum, but these two little girls, again, and they were twins, they were fraternal twins, not identical twins. So they both manifested their autism a little bit different, but it was still the same, that it was severe autism. And these parents were just blessed to be able to be in a trial and implement some lifestyle strategies. And the thing for me that is super encouraging with the work that I do with my Better Brain program is that all of the stuff that I talk about related to helping the brain of somebody who's 50 years of age and older to try to minimize or reduce their risk of ever getting dementia or Alzheimer's, it was those exact same strategies that were implemented for these little girls. So there was, well, not the exact same, but very, very, very similar. So first things first, they made some very important dietary changes and made sure that the foods that they were eating were foods that support optimal brain health, number one. Number two, there were a few key supplements that these little girls were taking. Again, key supplements that are known clinically to improve brain health. The supplements are the same that I recommend for my 50 plus population to support their brain so it doesn't decline. They talked about different exercises that were important to support brain health. They were talking about environmental exposure. So are there toxins that these little girls were exposed to, and how do you get rid of those toxins so that their body can develop better? Again, all the things that I talk about in my Better Brain program were what were implemented here. And these girls were given scores at the beginning of the trial, and then they followed these girls for a little bit over 1 year. And in that 1 year window of time, one of the twins improved by well over 90% in all of her scores. So being able to be verbal, the way she was able to walk and talk in the world, many things, again, more than 90% improvement. And the pediatrician said that this recovery was miraculous. The other twin, again, these are two twin girls, so one had well over a 90% recovery, and her sister had well over a 50% recovery. So not to the same degree, but still massively significant, massively life-changing in what could be expected as far as adult outcomes and quality of life for these two little girls. Shocking in the most inspiring and encouraging ways. And so again, I'm going to have a link because I want to make sure that every single parent in America knows that there are lifestyle things that can be done, different foods to think about eating, different exercises to do, different supplements, avoiding environmental toxins. Again, things that can be done that will improve the health of all brains regardless of your age. So whether or not you're a 2-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 52-year-old, or an 82-year-old, if you implement key lifestyle strategies that are targeted specifically to brain health, you will see good quality improvement. And it's my prayer, my hope, and my goal that all parents of autistic children will embrace this and be proactive in the health of their children. Oh, the other thing that I didn't mention that's crucial, and it was one of the key factors that helped our son Kevin. Again, one of the lifestyle interventions that was used here is that the clinicians suggested that these parents meet with an osteopath. So that's a doctor, a DO, and that osteopath did what was called cranial adjustments. So again, they were doing some adjustments on the skull. Oftentimes people think the brain, the skull itself, is just one solid bone. but it is not. It's many, many, many different bones. And while you're a child and growing, there are sutures all the time. But when they're growing, the sutures are wider than average. And so you can do some shifting around just to help to try to gently mold the skull and help the brain to send signals more effectively. So that was, again, besides the nutrition, besides the exercise, besides the environmental stuff, this family also utilized an osteopath to do cranial work to help inspire that brain, enhance that brain's ability to fire signals more effectively. And that was certainly one of the protocols that we did with our son Kevin. I had learned about cranial adjusting when I was in school. Again, I had never ever heard about cranial adjusting till I was in school, so we got Kevin started on that, which there's no doubt at all made all the difference in the world for Kevin, because at that time when he was diagnosed with autism, we were told he would never perform beyond a 6-year-old mental capacity, and here he is now, 38 years old, has a full-time job. He is performing significantly better than anybody ever thought. So again, parents, I'm excited for you that there are strategies that have now been outlined for you to follow to help your own children minimize their degree with which they have autism. And it's my prayer that many of you will be able to have some of the same results that these parents did and have virtually a 90+% reversal in symptoms. So I pray that you found this information valuable. Again, please, please, please share this with everybody you know, because if you didn't know that there was hope for autistic kiddos, think about how many other people did not know that there's hope. It's important. Spread the word so that parents don't feel hopeless, but feel hopeful instead. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.